How's it going, everybody? Welcome in to another episode of the Mavs Step Back Podcast. I'm your host, Dalton Trigg, and today I'm joined by my DallasBasketball.com colleague, Lance Roberson. You can find him on Twitter at Lance_972. He does a lot of great work for us. I believe he's done the last two recaps. He did the back-to-backs on the recap, which I'm very appreciative of you doing that because there's no way I would have been able to get that other one the other night. Back-to-back recaps. He just put out a good story on Tim Hardaway Jr., who is taking care of, I believe it's house payments for families, isn't it? Two families?
Yeah, two families. It's up to $10,000 in total donations. It's both families get 3 months of house payments. So it was really nice of him and an organization.
Always nothing but high-class stuff from Tim Hardaway Jr. Love that dude. I know people don't like how streaky he can be on the court, but it all evens out, and he's a good player on the court and off the court. So you love to see stuff like that, especially around the holidays right now and, people in need needing stuff like that. So that was great to see. Lance, we're going to jump right into it, talking about these last two games that the Mavs have played without Luka. I don't know where your mind was at heading into both of those games. Me personally, when Luka doesn't play, I have zero expectations. I'm usually pretty optimistic, but with the way the Mavs have played without Luka so far this season and last season, I did not expect a win in either one, even though it was OKC and Charlotte. And Charlotte's not the worst team in the league, but they have the worst defense in the league. So I wasn't expecting much. They come out in OKC. Moses Brown has a big game against his former team, provides a big spark. They had a lot of guys in double figures. KP was only like the game's fourth leading scorer, and he only had like 13 points or something like that. So, good all-around scoring from everybody involved. It was good to see them get some shots going. And then against Charlotte last night on the second night of a back-to-back, they just shot the lights out, something you don't normally see on a second night of a back-to-back, but they got it going. KP had 22, 12, and 3 blocks at the half. Only played 25 minutes total, and the Mavs get another blowout win. So back-to-back blowout wins against the Thunder and the Hornets without Luka, who continues to rest that ankle. And then you have the game coming up on Wednesday against the Lakers. And then after Wednesday, the Mavs are off until Sunday. So they'll have a long period of time there where Luka can continue to rest. And I don't think he should play Wednesday, but it might be hard for him to sit out one against his idol, LeBron James. I don't know if he's going to sit that one out or not, even though I kind of think he probably should. But where's your overall feelings on this team based on the last two games and what they have coming up?
All right, so obviously the Thunder are like one of the worst teams in the league. They're like obviously rebuilding. But I'm always happy to see the so-called development that kid promised. So seeing Moses Brown get some time and some of the other players like Green get some time, that's what I really care about when I'm watching these games, like against like lesser competition. And even the Hornets, I mean, they have a lot of like injuries and NBA health protocol stuff going on. So like LaMelo Ball wasn't even playing. They were out Mason Plumlee and two other rotation players. So not saying that win wasn't impressive, or no, it's not impressive. But what was impressive was KP. That was definitely the best all-around game I've seen from KP in quite some time. I mean, he had 5 blocks, including the Miles Bridges block, where I thought Miles Bridges was going to dunk on him. Because, I mean, Miles Bridges is definitely like a dunking competition kind of guy. Like, look out for him during the All-Star break. Other than that, Trey Burke definitely showcased that he does believe in shots. I think he had like 23 points. So, I mean, the supporting cast, it was awesome to see, Dallas actually perform at home, score 70 points, albeit versus a lesser team. I do believe Doncic is going to play Wednesday because, I mean, everyone knows it's well documented that he loves playing against LeBron. And I mean, he said himself that he shouldn't even have played against the Pacers, but he did. So I can definitely see him, using his influence to come back a little bit sooner.
Well, and I mean, not that LeBron's going to retire anytime soon, but, it is getting towards the the end of his career, and you don't know how many more opportunities you're going to have to play against him. So I just feel like if he's able to play, even if he's not 100%, I feel like he's definitely going to give it a run there. But I agree with you. They did get 2 wins, and it was against 2 bad teams. And the Hornets, they were without LaMelo Ball. They're shorthanded too. We probably should have seen this coming given the beatdown that the Mavs gave the Hornets in preseason. They won by 68 against the same Hornets team in preseason. So maybe they just like playing the Hornets. I don't know. But you don't want to put too much into preseason basketball. But like you said, I agree with, the development stuff. You like to see guys getting some run that they normally wouldn't get. And Josh Green specifically, and we'll get to Moses Brown here in a second, but Josh Green, it seems like ever since that Memphis game, the first Memphis game that they lost, and then you had those fiery comments from Desmond Bane afterwards, saying, oh, well, it's not my fault they picked Josh Green over me. And, he basically just threw him under the bus. Obviously Desmond Bane has a right to say what he said because everything he said was correct at that point. But since that point, it seems like Josh Green has been getting more run. And I don't know if it's specifically because of those comments that were made, or maybe it was, just Sterling Brown being out and he's filling in for his position or whatever the case may be. But I like it. I like that it's turned out this way because he's showing us some things. He's always been good defensively. He's always been very active, has active hands. He's quick. He can get in position faster than pretty much anyone on the team right now. He hit a corner 3 last night and a couple other jumpers. He was hitting his shot. His vision is one of the things that's very underrated about Josh Green. And it may not be underrated as far as, the Mavs community, Mavs Twitter community and stuff like that, because every time he plays, it seems like we're bringing it up. But I just can't help but notice, he had one pass last night, Lance. I'm sure you remember it, but Tim Hardaway Jr. missed the 3-pointer, but it was like a look-off cross-court sling pass that was just right on the money to Tim Hardaway Jr., who was open on the other corner, and Tim Hardaway Jr. missed it. But it was very Luka-esque with that pass. So I'm very encouraged by Green's, how he's played the last couple of games. And I'm wondering if something like this could be meaningful for his development, like in the immediate future, like for the rest of this season. If Luka comes back and they are completely healthy, even if Sterling Brown comes back and they need a spark or something, maybe Jason Kidd can insert him. And because he's gotten some experience in some of these other games, it can end up being a good thing for the Mavs the rest of the season. Or maybe even in the postseason if they need a spark. They could have used a spark in the Clippers series last year when things got so stagnant. So, overall, what do you think about Green, and where do you think his progression will go from here just the rest of this season?
All right, so with Green, leading up to the draft, when people were talking about certain players, a lot of the draft people I knew about weren't even necessarily having him high on their list for the Mavs to pick, but they did say that he was athletic and that he could, given the right amount of time, be one of the better defenders in the draft. The thing is, when you play for Rick Carlisle and your name is not Luka Doncic and you're a rookie, you don't really get a lot of chances. So I remember him throwing in alley-oops to Willie Cauley-Stein last year, and of course, Willie Cauley-Stein missed the dunk, and right away, Carlisle benched Green. And the reason I say that is because I just think Green's been conservative up until this point because he's been afraid to get yanked for small mishaps, even if they're not of his own doing. But now I just think he's starting to get confident, and he realizes that Kidd is legitimately trying to play him and get him some burn. I watched him do a pull-up in transition. I was like, I wasn't expecting that. And I was impressed. Even if he didn't make the shot, I was impressed because I was like, that's not something he would have done last year. Because really all he would have done last year is just stay in the corner and probably not even get a look his way. So I think it's just confidence and reps. It's just simple stuff. I'm not really expecting much from him. I just want him to, I don't want to say be scared at the moment because he's professional, but I just want him to realize that he's out there for a reason and he's more than just a body. He needs to do something out there. they need young players. They need a spark, like you say, because I mean Trey Burke is rarely going to give you 23 points off the bench, let alone even play that long. So yeah, that's all I'm looking for is just him being confident and believing himself to just pull up in those situations and try different things rather than just being kind of conservative with his play.
Well, just moving on from Josh Green a little bit, another, young Maverick that's been playing well, and it goes before these last two games against OKC and Charlotte, but that win they had against Memphis is really when Moses Brown started to get, a good handful, at least, over 10 minutes. I think he only played 12 in that Memphis win, but he was a big factor in that win. Taylor Jenkins, the Memphis Grizzlies head coach, afterwards, he was when they asked him about, what the difference in the game was, he was just like, he said Moses Brown was the difference in the game because of the energy he brought. He just gives the Mavs a different dynamic than, what you have with, say, Dwight Powell at center. And he's young, he's athletic, he's long. And I think it was the OKC game. He had a drop step in the paint that was just beautiful. His footwork was great. And all I could think about when I saw that was like, those reports about how Tyson Chandler is mentoring him this season. And I don't know if that's still going on. I'm sure it is, but that's all I could think about in that moment was like, okay, maybe Tyson Chandler is helping this dude. And, if he can add some muscle and everything, maybe the Mavs have something because he's on a super cheap contract. In my opinion, he gives you more than what your other bigs give you. Even though he is kind of, what's the word? I don't want to say uncoordinated because that seems like a slide at an NBA player. But
in all fairness, Dalton, like he's very young and raw, and a lot of people know that centers take a while to develop. So there's nothing wrong with him not having it all together. The fact that he has the motor that he has is the most important thing. It's his motor. That's what makes him special because Dwight Powell has a motor too, but unfortunately Dwight Powell does not have the body that Moses has. And so those two combinations make for a deadly center once he actually just imagine once he gets it together how he's going to look. And on that very, very team-friendly contract, I might add too.
And that was the thing with Dwight Powell, even before his Achilles injury, when he was super athletic and, was able to dunk on anybody and go, almost to the top of the backboard, catching alley-oops, stuff like that. Even then, though, he still had issues rebounding because his arms just aren't long enough. So that's the thing. Moses, not only is he tall, but he's got a super long wingspan. I think it's like 7'8" or something like that. I have to look and see the exact measurements. But anyway, he's got a plus wingspan and he's already like 7'2". So that's always a good thing. And I'm really encouraged by that. I don't think he'll, get consistent minutes against teams with more established bigs throughout this season, unless the Mavs are just having injury issues or something like that. But anytime you have a situation like these last two games where you can plug in your young guys, they get a ton of run and you get the wins, that is nothing but positive stuff for their development in the Mavs going forward. And, if anything, even if they don't stay with the Mavs long term, at worst, you're raising people's trade values. And by the way, you mentioned KP's block on Bridges earlier, and that's the picture you used for your recap on DallasBasketball.com. I just wanted to show that real quick.
Nasty.
Just incredible stuff from KP there. And like I said, he had 22 points and 12 rebounds, three blocks in the first half, finished with 5 blocks. And it was really the first game, Lance, where it seemed like he had everything going at once. He's probably had a couple other games where it seemed like that too against, earlier in the season. But as of late, it seems like he's really been struggling offensively. And he's still I haven't looked at the updated numbers, but before last night, he was shooting under 30% from three, which is it would be by far a career worst for him by like 8 percentage points. So you have to think there's going to be some positive regression there with his 3-point shooting, just like you think the same thing with Reggie Bullock and some of these other guys too. But KP going forward, are you encouraged by how he's playing right now and think it could be a good thing for the Mavs the rest of this season and going into the postseason if he stays healthy? Or are you kind of looking at every time he plays like this, like, oh, well, maybe it's increasing his trade value? Because some people, I got to be honest, I brought this up last night, and in a couple different locations, we have our Mavs Step Back Discord now and Twitter and DMs and all that stuff. And some people are just like, oh, man, don't do that. Don't bring up the KP trade stuff now. And I'm thinking like, well, I mean –
Cuban's going to text you, man. Cuban's going to hit you up.
Yeah, I mean, I know Mark Cuban doesn't want to hear something like that, but I mean, I don't know, man. I look at how he is good at certain times, but he's inconsistent at times too. And I'm just thinking, like, if you look around the league and say Sacramento, for instance, they have supposedly been shopping Buddy Hield and Marvin Bagley together in a trade package, and that money matches up perfectly with KP. So I'm thinking, like, Marvin Bagley, he's so much younger than KP. He still has a lot of upside. Buddy Hield, he could bring you some more consistent shooting. He's had a down year this year, but he's consistently like a 40% three-point shooter for his career. I look at stuff like that, and I'm just thinking, like, who was it? I forgot who reported that for Sacramento, but it said that they were trying to package those two players in return for a good player. And I'm thinking, like, well, KP is a good player. I mean, yeah, let's maybe that could work. But I mean, what are your thoughts there? Are you thinking trade KP? Or are you thinking, like, maybe he can keep up what he's been doing for the course of a whole season?
I don't think any mid-season trade of that magnitude is going to help the team. I think it'll just hurt the team even more because, I mean, they got a new coach. I think what they're doing right now, just do this for now. I mean, they have their own draft pick, so whatever happens, they have it at least. If there was to be a trade, I think it'd be in the offseason, because if they trade in midseason, Cuban would have to go on a PR rampage because all the stuff that he's been talking about, he would never trade Porzingis, and for him to trade him like a month later, like I think Cuban would rather double down than do something as drastic as that. But seriously, I mean, Porzingis has looked good. My issue is, like, when he looks good, and this is not, I'm just saying this might be coincidence, but when he looks good, a lot of the times the Mavs do lose.
Yeah.
But they just happen to play, a team without their best player. Although they still have like the Hornets have like Miles Bridges and Hayward and man, I'm forgetting the guard that just came back last night. Well, no, the shooting guard.
Terry Rozier.
Yeah. So he was playing too. So it's not like they don't have any. It's not like they were playing the Thunder. The Thunder are worse, even though they do have a couple really good young players like Shea, Gilgeous-Alexander and stuff.
And Kelly Oubre Jr. is usually what I like to call
Mavs All-Star.
Versus Mavs All-Star, or a Hall of Fame versus Mav. Whatever you want to call it. He usually lights up the Mavs.
Yeah.
But he did not last night, so that was good.
But now I don't think they're going to be trading KP, man. If anything, they're just going to ride this, and the whole immaculate vibes thing they've been pushing is just, they're going to continue with that. And I mean, it's great. KP had 5 blocks and didn't look stiff out there. So it's really like a friend of DallasBasketball.com, Kirk Henderson, as he likes to say, it's a lot of times it's up to Porzingis' body, not exactly him, So they just got to keep monitoring him, make sure they don't play him too much. And that's about it. I mean, I'm not saying they will never trade him because, I mean, Mark let Tyson Chandler walk twice. So I'm not going to envision them really being super loyal. Like, if they see a package, like maybe in the offseason, I just don't see them doing something so drastic in the regular season with a new head coach.
Well, I think, and I told somebody this earlier today, Lance, to me, it kind of feels like the Mavs, anytime there's like rumors coming out, Mark Cuban wants it to be like, oh, well, if you hear a rumor and it's not coming directly from us, it's always false. To me, it kind of feels like if something does come out, even if it was true at the time, they reverse course and they, it's like they just completely event. Because, we had the stuff about them shopping KP last year, and so reportedly it was like with Golden State, they were going to try and do something with that. And, looking back, thank goodness they didn't, because the Warriors are already amazing this year. And with the way KP has played since coming back from his back tightness, that would just make them even better. But, since that report came out, and I'm sure they were shopping him at one point just to kind of gauge and see what the trade interest was, there's been nothing, absolutely nothing since then. So it's like they have just cut anywhere that leak might have come from, even if it was from the other team. It just kind of feels like they just completely shut it down. We're not trading him. Got rid of Rick Carlisle. That seems to be, what KP's main thing was there. So, I can see that. I can see where you're coming from there. I'm okay if they don't trade him. I think, as long as he stays healthy, he's added a little bit to his game to where, like, I know people groan about the post-up stuff, especially at the beginning of the season when Jason Kidd said he was going to implement that. But he's really worked on it. Like, he's a lot better around the basket than he has been in recent years, and he's not getting punked by smaller guys like he was in the playoffs and over the course of the last regular season. So I'm encouraged by all of that. I think he will provide a huge spark for the Mavs in the postseason if they do get their healthy. And I like the biggest thing I take away from this stretch right now with Luka being out, Lance, is the guys, everybody but Luka. That's been the problem this year. It's like Luka, he's averaging 25, 8, and 8, even with his conditioning issues, even with him having ankle issues. It's been all this stuff going on with him, and yet he's still averaging 25, 8, and 8, and he's generating wide open looks for his teammates. The other guys, that's what's been the issue this year. So to have Luka out, and, the last time he was out, they didn't win a game. They went 0-3. So to have him out now and for them to win 2 in a row and kind of, building up some momentum, I think that's a good thing for this team going forward. You get these guys going individually. You get Jalen Brunson back in a groove for when Luka comes back, and he can help out a lot. Trey Burke, he looked like Trey Burke from the Orlando bubble last night. He had 22 points off the bench. Was just hitting everything. One of my Twitter guys I see on, or Mavs Twitter guys, his name's Austin. I can't pronounce his last name, but I see him on Twitter every now and then. He said something about every couple of months. Or no, what was that tweet? Hold on, let me look at this. Okay. He said once every 94 games or so, Trey Burke turns into Allen Iverson, and it's incredible. That's probably the best way he could have put that. So it was good to see that happen. Hopefully Reggie Bullock can get it going again. We've seen some signs of life from him, and he's another guy who's been like a 40% 3-point shooter for his career. So I don't think it's gonna, Wilson ball or not, I don't think he's going to continue to shoot as poorly as he has in this first quarter of the season. And who knows, man? The way Justin Jackson has been performing for the Texas Legends, maybe they need to bring him back for one of the end of the roster spots. They switched to the Wilson ball, and he dominated with the Wilson ball in college. So, maybe there's a correlation there.
Okay, so you want to talk about bringing Justin Jackson back? Could they bring him back just so they can trade for Harrison Barnes and get a mulligan on that trade?
Yeah, God, that was so bad. There, you look back at the comedy of errors that have happened back to back over the last couple of seasons for the Mavs since that KP trade, and the KP trade worked out okay. KP, when he's healthy, KP helps you a lot, and Tim Hardaway Jr. turned out to be a very big surprise there. But after that, there have been so many miscues. It's crazy. But looking ahead just to this Lakers game, Lance, whether Luka plays or not, given how the Lakers have struggled so far this year, and, everybody's talked about their advanced age and all that, they've shown flashes since LeBron has gotten healthy. But what are your expectations for this game on Wednesday? National TV, Wednesday night. We're doing a Mavs Step Back watch party for it, so you guys be sure to go sign up for.
I'll be there. I'm not doing the recap
in a second.
So
yeah,
I'm not doing the recap. I don't think unless someone signs me up for it, I'll be three-peating. But
I think Bree's doing that one. I'll have to double check. But anyway,
I was trying to go to the game, but man, they want way too much for nosebleed. I'll have to just catch it. It's like $80 for nosebleed, and with the ticket fees, it's like $200. I was like, nah, I'm good. Nah,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's the Lakers. No matter how they're playing, the Mavs are going to struggle against like players like AD, like just bigs like that they have. I mean, last year the Mavs caught the Lakers while they were running into health issues, so they were able to, I think, win the season series against them actually, which is not something they always do. No, LeBron just is coming off a triple double. Like it's against Luka, it's on national TV, and it's. I'm not here predicting win or losses, but I think it's going to be an uphill battle for the Mavericks. Honestly, I mean, these are typically the situations that are like, it's great for drama and everything, but like. It takes me back to like when the Mavs played the Lakers on Christmas and everyone was hyping it up, and then they end up getting their tails, taken off. So I think it's going to be fun, but I just don't know if it's going to be like a buzzer beater situation here, or I mean, it's going to be fun regardless. I can't wait to watch because it's Luka and LeBron at theater, and that alone, win or loss, regardless is fun. But I don't know, man.
Well, I know the team's gotten 2 wins without Luka now, but considering who they've played, I mean, the Lakers, they haven't been world beaters or anything. They've had their own share of struggles, but I feel like this one, if Luka doesn't play, I'm expecting a loss. I mean, that's just I feel like they're fortunate to have gotten 2 straight wins now without him, and I think they'll lose if he doesn't play. If he does play, the last time he came back from an ankle injury was in Los Angeles against the Clippers, and they had that thrilling overtime win. And Luka loves to get up for the moment in those type of situations. So if Luka comes back, I'm expecting a very good game, and I do think the Mavs have a chance of winning their 3rd straight. So
yeah, sorry for not being as optimistic as you. Every time I think of Mavs on national TV, yeah, and I'm trying to be objective here, but when I think of Mavs on national TV versus LeBron, it usually doesn't go well.
Yeah, especially a couple. I remember, I can't remember if it was last season or the season before the bubble, but
I remember which game you're talking about.
Yeah, Seth Curry
Dwight Howard grabbed
Seth Curry,
and they didn't call it.
And it ended up with a Danny Green 3 that sent it to overtime. Never should have gone to overtime. It was ridiculous.
Oh yeah, I'm surprised I didn't get into a spat with someone at that bar that night because there was a lot of Lakers fans that I was clearly peeved.
They can be intense for sure, which Mavs fans can too, but not at the level that Lakers fans are. But well, guys, look, before we take off here, I do want to take a chance to plug Mavs Step Back Premium. If you don't know, your perks for Premium, you get access to all of our live watch parties. We're doing those on the Playback app. It's in beta testing right now, so it's not like public, but it should probably be sometime in March. But for right now, we're sending out these private links to people to where they can join. And basically, it's a live stream, and it's kind of like Green Room where there's a chat for everybody to talk in the room, and we can bring people on stage in the little bubbles. At the bottom, it's kind of like we're the commentators on the game, and we can bring up people as guests and stuff like that. It's really cool. Y'all should definitely consider, signing up and try it out at least for a month. It's $4 a month. If you don't think it's worth your $4 a month, you can cancel at any time. You don't have to go past, 1 month if you don't want to. But anyway, you get access to all of our live watch parties. You get all of our episodes on there ad-free, exclusive bonus pods with special guests. I've got one coming up Thursday for y'all. You get access to our Mavs Step Back Discord, where we're always talking Mavs, have different channels. We have one specifically set up for trade speculation. And then you get a free t-shirt if you sign up before the end of the year. So that's just these next couple weeks. If you sign up before we get to 2022, you'll get a free Mavs Step Back t-shirt, and you can sign up at patreon.com/Mavs Step Back. And I'm going to just show y'all this little thing here. It shows, let's see. Okay, off to the right there's your chat. Like I said, it's similar to Green Room. You can put your own profile picture and everything and talk throughout the game. Down here at the TV screen, or the stream part right here, you'll see the little bubbles. That was me and my guy Taylor Peterson. He's from the Uncontested OKC podcast. He came on for Mavs Thunder the other night, and we had a great time. So be sure to go check that out. It's worth a try. I mean, we've had a ton of fun with it. We've had a handful of people sign up for this last couple of weeks, and it's going to just continue growing from there. And, the goal for this, and I haven't told many people, Lance, but, if we could just get like half of our normal podcast subscribers, listeners to sign up for premium, I'm eventually going to move out to the Dallas area. I've got to get to a certain point where it makes, sense for me to do that. So I figured, as much as I love doing this, I'm going to put out extra content when I can during my, my spare time, or, my lunch breaks or whatever. I'm going to keep putting out this extra content for people, and hopefully it gets to a point where, I can, my wife and I can move out that way. And I know she'd make a lot more money teaching out that way than she does in South Mississippi. So that's the end goal with all of this, not only just to bring everybody more of our Mavs Step Back content, but just so I can potentially get closer to everybody too. So that's the end goal in mind. We'll see how it goes. For now, like I said, if anybody wants to sign up and try it, it's patreon.com/Mavs Step Back. And we hope to see a lot of you on Wednesday for Mavs Lakers. It starts at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. And Lance, we'll see you there too. You said you're going to be able to join us.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to be there.
After back-to-back recaps, you need a little bit of a break.
Thankfully, the Mavs made the last one really easy for me, so I was thankful for that.
Yeah, both of them really. You were able to wrap those up before the fourth quarter. So
yeah.
Well, again, guys, Lance Roberson, you can find him at Lance_972 on Twitter. He's always posting his work from DallasBasketball.com and giving his thoughts on other things, Mavs related, sports related, all that good stuff. So be sure to follow him. Be sure to like, rate, and subscribe on all your favorite podcast platforms. We're still doing that thing where if you leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, it'll enter you for a chance to win a free t-shirt. All you have to do is put your Twitter ad or Instagram ad, some way for us to get in contact with you. We haven't given out any of those lately because I think it's probably been 2 or 3 weeks since we got our last review done on there. So it'd be a good time to do it. Nobody's done it in a couple weeks, so your chances of winning one of those t-shirts goes up when that happens. So, guys, we appreciate it. Y'all have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you on Wednesday. Y'all have a good one.